up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 13.5, Peanut Gallery, where we are covering the novel Deadbeat. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
That's my Phil impression.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling. Chapter 5. A man named Grevane has come for Butters. Dresden confronts Grevane, who in turn offers to recruit him. Instead, Dresden and Butters escape in the Blue Beetle.
As soon as this man walks into the room and attempts to grab Butters, do whatever he wants with Butters, Harry's like, that's it. I'm here for a reason. Fate has brought me to this moment. I believe in God. Enough of that.
I think my favorite part, though, is like Butters is like, cool hat. I'm very frightened, but cool.
Who does not love a good fedora, right? Yeah,
Harry.
Well, yeah, apparently. But yeah, wow, great entrance. Love the hat. So, yeah, Harry does this. That'll be enough.
This is some heavy fucking snark, even for Harry. He does not let up for this entire conversation. It is hardcore snark.
The drip of sarcasm is strong with him.
Yeah.
Well,
to the nth degree.
He's had a rough night so far. He found out Murphy is going away on vacation without him, with Kincaid. And then,
Forget the without him, with Kincaid.
yeah, and then, oh wait, suddenly I'm discovering that might bother me. And then I had to go to my gravesite and have a stupid meeting with stupid Mavra, which I can't do anything about yet because she's got all the cards and I have to protect Murphy. And now this guy walks in and
he's ruined all of the bribery beer.
that, right? I could have saved myself.
And my brother had sex in my bed.
Right?
And my brother has sex in my bed. Which,
May I point out that there are probably fingerprints of Dresden's on that set of beer. Like, should have grabbed the
I
beer
thought
on the
we were
way
going
out.
back to the bed for a second. I was like, yeah, there's... yeah, right? There's... Ugh.
Should have grabbed the beer.
He wears a glove.
Oh!
Ow!
One glove, though. The other one's fine.
The other hand's holding the staff.
He's just got this bag hooked.
That's obviously not what I meant.
Do you have a glove on that one, too?
Harry didn't get the memo when he said put a glove on it.
Yeah, it's does Thomas wear one in his bed, too?
But his fingerprints are then on the doorway.
Right.
Door handle.
He's like running in with like a rag.
I mean, come on, it's not like Harry has never stopped by the Forensic Institute before.
But Phil didn't stay inside the Forensic Institute. He was outside after.
Yes.
So they won't
And-
actually necessarily
Potentially.
look in.
And also, Harry didn't sign in, so maybe, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they would, like you say.
Either way, my first thought was, don't leave the beer.
Don't leave... fingerprints or not, just take your damn beer,
Don't
man.
leave the beer.
I mean...
It's good quality beer.
It's good quality beer, and it's probably not super cheap anyways because it's like specialty beer.
Well, and especially since Thomas keeps drinking all of it.
And, right? Like, you can't afford to just be leaving extra beer laying around. Like, it's just priorities.
You make a good point, though. Between chapter 3 and chapter 4, Harry went to our namesake.
Yes.
Almost shout out.
Unless he's just
Adopted.
kept like a hidden stash in his Blue Beetle.
He is the kind of just, I always have bribes on me. You want depleted uranium? You want beer?
It's just sort of sitting underneath one of the milk crates. He's like, Thomas won't go there, right?
Please.
Where can I hide this that I can still use it as bribery that Thomas won't drink it?
Right? Not even. He's just like, where can I hide this so I have it? But damn it, now I need to use it as bribery.
Just hit it with the dog food.
So I do like how as soon as Harry tries to get involved in this, and Grevane is all like, if you're a bitch to me, I got room in my car for one more. And Harry's like, I already got a job. Me and Butters are gonna go, and you're gonna let us. And he's all like, you and what shield, blah, blah, blah. And Harry's like, me and this fucking gun.
Yeah, that too.
That's exactly what happened. He draws his 44. I love how often everyone is always flabbergasted by that. Like, oh, well, okay.
And he does pull out his sloppily...
His shield bracelet.
but that's not nearly as intimidating as the 44.
I like the description of his shield bracelet now, though, because it sounds like welder sparks to me. Like, that's what I get, just like this more industrial, like, crazy feel to it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Raw.
Yeah, because, well, he hasn't, because it's still banged up from the lot, like from Marvin and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, exactly. With, you know, a mangled hand, it's not that easy for him to repair and redo his tools and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, which is the other interesting thing that you kind of learn, that it's not just all like off the rack stuff for Harry. He doesn't just go out and buy a bracelet and then, right? A lot of his gear, at least at some point, I mean, maybe originally at some point, he had just some sort of ready-made bought stuff that he packed stuff into, but now
like his belt where he actually carved a bear.
Yeah, right? Like that is some of the power and magic and whatever going into it.
Same as his rituals and his spell making.
Yeah.
You have to put effort into imbuing the process, baking with love. If you don't bake it with magic, it's not going to do shit.
Exactly. So, yeah, so his bracelet is still all beat to shit, and now it leaks, basically, right? It's not this...
And he's not so much into silversmithing right now for some strange reason.
Not so much into the silversmithing. So, yeah, like you say, it's barfing out all these little sparks and things, and...
But it makes it funny, because a lot of these high-powered magical types now are... Really, this guy who can't even control himself, he's just sparking all over the place. What a little wannabe loser. But it's also at the same time good for Harry because they're really underestimating him as some loser who cannot get his shit together.
Well, exactly, right? Drives like this shitty beat up car. He's got like shitty beat up props. He's got, it's like held together with like duct tape and, they're like, what is this?
All he can see is the leaky end of a hose. Whatever the little gun at the end of the hose. He doesn't actually see the size of the hose or how wide that's turned on.
Hey, don't talk about Harry's leaky faucet in front of me.
Or the size of his hose.
Or the size of his hose.
Well, he is pretty tall, so... We've had this conversation, haven't we? If we haven't, I am shocked.
At which point Grevane offers him a job instead as like a real, not as a zombie. You can just actually be alive and help me out. And he makes a very interesting point here. I don't have enough time. Join me against the others. We're so close to the end of the race. Blah, 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 which is a little bit like, oh no, what are you up to? Harry's only got 3 days to do something, and you're also on a deadline for something?
Wait, what?
Crazy. Could possibly be happening in the air tonight in Chicago.
No, I mean, like, that's the thing about Grevane, though. At least we see right here that he's not just like... He's perceptive enough that he's like, oh yeah, actually, you would be useful to have on my team. Cool.
He seems very adaptive to the situation. Like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Go with the flow.
And he can sense the true magic on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is also creepy and...
Not a term used by on the level wizards.
Well, yeah, it's just creepy because, hey, wait a minute, wasn't that what Bob just called it when Bob was all freak-o-matic Bob? So now this guy is, I don't like that,
Right. And the whole time this guy's keeping a beat too, just patting his book against his thigh the whole time, which is just an added tempo of weird creepiness that...
Right, it's like a very either casual thing that you're just like, or like what, right? Well, he has this whole, and it's so funny too, because like he's like you say, adaptive, but it's like either that whole arrogance thing of, again, I'll just pick up people and I'm so scary, I'm so important, I'm so whatever that, like if I can't like sort of cow you into being like scared of me, and I'll just be like, oh yeah, come work for me. Like obviously I'm so cool, I'm so important, I'm so powerful that
I took it more of like because he could smell the true magic on him. I don't think he would have, if that moment hadn't happened earlier, then...
Maybe not.
And he'd be like, yeah, no, don't need you.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you dabble.
Which definitely might have been a bigger selling point, but just like you say, right, that he's just willing to kind of roll with the whole thing.
Harry's not immediately on his knees quivering. That's already something.
Well, yeah, he's not immediately just like, I mean, he sort of is like, I got room in my car for him. But, instead of like all the big death threats and all the big, I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to punish you, I'm going to kill you, he's just all, he's like, well, I could. Like, obviously the insinuation is there that I could do you like I just did Phil, but you know what? Come work for me. Like, I can always use anybody with, like Harry's just going to be like, okay, and
very conceited.
Yeah, like you say, that sort of arrogance in and of itself, right? And he's, again, very calm. He's not freaking out. He's not like yelling and screaming. I mean, he's correcting his grammar. He's like, right? Like the quintessential British whatever, right? Like nothing phases me.
Throwing around Latin just because it's fashionable.
Right, makes him sound cool, right? And yeah, and he's got Phil there doing his grunt work, but he's also got like this other guy with him that Harry, for half a second mistakes as another possible corpse because he just is like old and pale and weird looking, you know what I mean? And like it takes him a second to realize it's not just another zombie dude.
Really just an old man.
Just an old man.
Sorry, polite Harry.
Yeah. Don't ask them if they're pregnant if you're not 100% sure. Or sorry, don't assume or make a comment that they are unless you...
I know somebody who's done that twice falsely now.
Oh.
And I'm like, you didn't learn the first time?
Wow.
He's like, I was really confident the second time. I was like, you need to just never bring it up ever again.
Never unless you... Yeah. Yeah, I was there when someone did that to someone too, but as far as I know, they never did it again. But then again, it was just a temp, so I don't know if they have. But
Terrible.
He seemed embarrassed enough that I would think he would learn his lesson. So this guy is, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it on TV shows before. People
right.
talk about it.
Right. And yeah.
This is why common sense is never common.
Never enough. So not a corpse, but yeah.
Some pasty dude.
And Harry's just like, you know what? You guys are just going to hang out here. We're just going to walk out. And Grevane's like, not so much. I want to talk to him. I got questions for him.
I like how fast and well Harry takes control of the situation. Because in a lot of the time, Harry gets his ass handed to him right away. And he's the one who's got to play pickup. And I like how fast he was like, bitch, I was with the medical examiner first. He's my medical examiner. And he's very much like, Butters, get up. We're going. And he does manage to get out to the hallway. And he's like, I'm going to slam this door shut and you're going to lock it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. And they do manage to do it, which is not an attempt I would try. I would just be running. I'm not fumbling for keys when this guy's on the other side of the door.
Level-headed. Very level-headed.
Yeah.
Trying to. Exactly. One of his finer moments, instead of reacting to everything, he's trying to get out ahead of it a little bit. He's like, okay, I'm going to recognize the danger in this one, or I'm not going to assume that it's less than. I'm not going to think maybe there's something going on. Right? He's just like, don't like it, not good, let's just...
We're in a new world where Harry's afraid to use magic, and he instead's forced to use his brain, and it's very strange to witness.
Well, that too. But, in all fairness, right? I mean, 3 against 2, and Phil has already proven that he's like 5 against 1 to start with, I mean, like you say, flipping over fully loaded desks and filing cabinets. Not an easy feat.
Pain is no longer an issue.
Pain is no longer an issue. He's obviously got, strength and thing. Nothing's, or like you say, a block of...
Doesn't care about his copies of copies.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, yeah, not only could he just lay down the smackdown pretty good, is that, they're also outnumbered by a couple of other guys as well. So, yeah, discretion being the better part of valor and all that. I'm just going to run away and live to fight another day. And, yeah, exactly.
It's not bad. Like,
yeah.
If they had sort of just tried to keep doing manual hits on the door, they probably would have saved enough time, but...
It worked in Harry's favor that they want Butters alive.
But we have somebody that's also thinking just as much as Harry is at this point, which is like, oh, keys.
And that, we're not just...
You've got keys, don't you?
Mindless monsters on both sides. We've got 2 very highly intelligent, active, not clearly, but assumingly well-versed in the magic realm just based off of what we've seen.
Yeah. So. Not a complete newbie, not a completely know-nothing, whatever.
Fairly matched thus far.
Yeah, know something about something, right?
sprint for the car, sprint to get to Butters' truck, because Harry's parked next compound over at the business next door's parking lot. So Butters is closest.
Again, yeah.
It's just also been tampered with. One problem about working the night shift when there's only like one of 3 cars in the lot.
Yeah, the telltale of the gasoline. Well, this is not going to work for
Oh, fuck a duck. Here we go again.
And they can hear thumping in the background. Mm-hmm. All these beats going on. Gee, I wonder why.
The beat goes on and on and on.
And the beat goes on. Which is
A different song, but
there's like
same lyric, yeah.
But yeah, that would have been my old Geo Metro. My second car, I had a Geo Metro, and I put a 10-inch subwoofer in it.
Oh my.
I would drive down. One of my friends lived on 10th, and I would drive down to pick her up. She lived on the 10th floor, 1/10. Me and my 10-inch subwoofer. Lots of 10s here.
Yeah.
10s across the board. I never, and it was just like before we had cell phones, I never actually had to get out of my car and buzz her because she could hear my car coming down the street and would come down and meet me.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Well, it was nice clear bass inside the car, but the outside was like...
You're the kind of neighbor I'd hate.
It was great. Well, it's a hatchback, right? So what it does is it uses the actual acoustics inside the car.
Oh, yeah, I know all those words.
Oh, it's so good. It's the car. It just bounced.
Car is that thing.
No clue.
But
Yeah.
it's just what it made me think of. Yep, same time frame.
It actually just reminds me of how New York just had an earthquake about a month ago or something like that. And everyone just thought it was construction. Like, so many people thought literally just, like, brushed it off as construction happening in New York City. They're like, yeah, whatever. That's just the same sounds we hear every day.
Same old,
A lot of
same
people
old.
did not realize it was an earthquake happening.
Oh!
Crazy.
Right. So Butters obviously starts freaking out, which is actually fair in this moment. Sometimes it's a little bit like, okay, seriously, can you just grow up? But Butters, I feel like, is a fair one. The way he's been portrayed so far, who he is in the situation.
And there's been a lot going on, right? Like, there's
Inexperienced, coming to Jesus sort of moments.
the weird, yeah, like he's a little unsure because, Harry has to kind of prompt him, but he's kind of going, but yeah, it's just, right, one thing after another after, and I mean, I think I sort of get that, right? Your brain's not wired to process this stuff that you don't think is real or exists or you've never had to face before, right? How do you explain a dead guy walking into your, right? But somebody trashing your car is, again, right, a level of realness that you can't.
That's a crime.
That's right. Again, you're like, what the fuck is this, right? You know that they left you stranded.
It's part of your livelihood, too. So it's okay.
Right, exactly. Anytime you just leave.
This is America. You're not getting around without a car.
Well, again, right? Yes, not just a small walkable Stars Hollow kind of town, right? Chicago is fucking massive, and exactly, it's not reasonable to get around the whole thing. And one of those very basic, like, we've all been there where, like, you come out, your car won't start in the morning, it's too cold, or you forgot a light on or something, and even just that, right? The frustration, that thing.
It's your brain a little bit.
Right, and I remember, like, one of the last times I can remember apparently I was one of the last, my job started at 8 o'clock. I think I had to leave by, like, 7:45. It was not but apparently I was, like, the last person on my street to leave because there was, like, no frickin' other cars, nobody else coming out to go to work. I'm like, how the hell do I get a boost? I was literally walking up and down. I saw somebody, like, wait at the far end coming down to, like, drive their kid to school. And I got to be, like, that creepy neighbor that's, like, half running up the street, trying not, like, hey, I'm just, like, why are you suddenly running up? But yeah, but it was, like, even that, I'm like, how do I get to work? Who's going to, I'm like, I don't have to call a tow truck. That's going to take way longer. That's going to cost money. That's going to be.
It's where AMA used to actually be worth the membership just for, like, getting boosts.
Yeah, and sometimes, but again, it can take extra. Like, again, this happened to be in the middle of winter, right? So you're like, well, great. How many other people are, their cars froze up overnight or whatever? And right, so all of that, right? It's just a very believable moment of, like, distress, frustration. Is there something wrong with my car? Is this going to be a repair? Is a boost going to do it? Right? So
yeah, he definitely does have that, like, oh shit, my car moment.
Yeah.
And then in moments of trauma like that, and that's definitely a moment of trauma for him, because it's like, oh my
so
god,
much happening. Yeah.
My coworker had his throat slit and he's walking around.
Chucking my desk around.
It's going to take a bit for the brain to finally register and go, what? Wait, I did... What?
Exactly, like,
and I want to deny this, but no, I saw shit.
Yeah, exactly, right. And here's just one more reality thing that he can latch onto and be, like, freaked out about, and just be like, okay, this I can right? So, yeah, I kind of don't blame that this is where he starts falling apart a little bit more and everything starts to really just being like, what the fuck? I don't understand. This is... Not to mention there's just that little bit of, like, Harry displays frequently, but it's mine. You know? Like, it's not even, even like your desk and stuff at work, you may have a certain attachment to your things, but again, it's also like, it's work's desk. It's, you know what I mean? It's not the same, right? But it's like...
I vouch for that, walking outside and my car wasn't there.
Yeah, right?
Damn it.
What the fuck? It's...
Where's the second time? Again? Damn it.
But yeah, exactly right. I'm like, you can sort of put all that off as it's long. It's not really my thing. It's at work. It's at this. But yeah, exactly. Like, but it's my car. That's mine.
So as they're making a run for Harry's car, he can turn and see what the secondary figure that has decided to enlist with Grevane, other than against Harry's wishes. A medium height, long thinning hair, pale, loose skin, lots of liver spots, and Harry dubs him Liver Spots. So not a very polite guy, this Harry.
No, but then lots of it. I mean, so we all, like, name stuff in our heads, right? It's whatever stands out. I mean, at least in any book and stuff like that, right? You always see, like, glasses or big nose or liver spots or, bowl cut or I don't know, right? Like, it's always that one, and it's usually not the most flattering. It's
right, I've got another side story for you.
What's that, Ginger?
So this one comedian has got this little skit thing. And it's a woman. She's like, okay, so you have a group of friends, and if there's two people that are named the same, and there's like two Melissas, and we'll go with what the last name is. Females, we go with the last names. But guys, they're like, okay, well, Dave. There's two Daves in this group, and that one, he's Big Dave.
Yeah.
And the other guy is Fat Dave. And Fat Dave's just fine with it and actually calls himself Fat Dave. But that's just how this works. And I was like, but women don't do that. And I was like, oh, shit. Because I had two Nickies that I worked with, and one of them was called Bitchy Nicky, and the other one was called Big Nicky.
Sometimes they do.
Not so true. Like, oops.
We've got two Jakes at work, and one of them is just called Tree, because he's so tall. Just call him Jake and Tree.
Jake and Tree.
Also, there's 3 Jessicas at my job.
There's a lot of Jessicas out
One
there.
week, I did not get any tips, and I waited to see if there was like a problem, but after like 2 weeks, I was like, all right, bro, you didn't give me tips. He was like, all right, let me go check that out. And he's like, yeah, we accidentally gave your tips to another Jessica. And I was like, damn it, why couldn't you give one of their tips to me? Because they're servers, they make way more than I do in tips. I was like,
right.
You messed up the wrong Jessica to Jessica transition. That
transaction, yeah, right. Fuckers.
Oh well.
So which Jessica would you like to be then?
Me.
She's the bitchy Jessica.
Doesn't rhyme quite as well, but
Just the jerk.
No, I'm
Jerky
OG.
Jess? You're the OG Jess.
Actually, no, 2 of us started at the exact same time, but I'll fight her.
Thing 1 and thing 2. Now there's a thing 3.
There's really no overlap. No one's ever talking to a server or me at the same time.
Oh, there you go.
oh, so you're kitchen Jess then.
Yeah.
Not talking to her, just about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, chef. And this is Calgary, so you can probably say that and nobody would actually give a shit.
No one would care at all. So Liver Spots is speeding right towards them.
And a big old caddy. That's going to squish you a little bit.
Squish you like a dinosaur.
I sort of envision this in like where he like sort of pulls up and then gets out right away as like the John Wick sort of moment, because I think he does the same thing where he just like simultaneously gets out with the shotgun. And
I haven't actually watched a John Wick movie. I should. I hear they're quite good. I haven't ever actually, so I cannot corroborate that.
And I might be thinking the wrong one because I think I've only seen one of them. And
Have you seen The Matrix?
I have seen The Matrix, not
Just
any
add
of
a
the
dog.
follow-ups.
yeah,
Add a dog.
Whatever.
yeah, like lots of shooting of things.
Runs up the sides of buildings in this one too.
Probably. I haven't seen it either.
With a dog?
No, the dog's dead.
Oh, no, I can't watch
Well, that's
it.
what causes it.
Oh, okay. Don't.
He's getting spoiler. Sorry.
No, no more spoilers.
It's as much of a spoiler as Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's dad.
Ah, gee. Oh, I've seen that one. That's okay.
I mean, it's the catalyst for the entire movie, so it's not like really a spoiler. Like
Literally, like,
Except I didn't know about it.
he goes on a
so-
spree because some idiot kills his dog.
Gotcha.
just kills everyone involved. Like, this idiot. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm being
But there is a really neat scene where like, and I'm pretty sure it's this one, but everything's beat to shit, and he's like, just sort of skids the car out, and while it's still skidding, gets out of the car, grabs his gun and shoots somebody.
Yeah.
And just like in this fluid moment, like.
Oh, yeah. That does ring a hole. I've seen it somewhere somehow. It is a cool shot.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't feel like this guy's that cool, though. I think he just gave him way
especially
too much
the
credit.
Nickname liver spots.
He is not John Wick and nothing, man. His Wick is just...
Okay.
Yeah, no. So they're going to try and run for the Beetle instead. While this guy comes... And it's got the big, heavy woofers going on this one, too. So at least he's cool. He's hip. He's trendy.
Bad neighbor.
Is he bad? I mean, usually if you're going to have the moniker of, like, liver spots, you'd be like, turn down, you. But he's, like, just, no, banging it
He
out
doesn't
there
give
in
a
the
shit.
middle. Yeah, so, good God.
Luckily, I mean, they're fast. They're getting to that Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Well, we know that the shield bracelet still does, in fact, work despite its appearances.
He's hauling ass, but yes, he does have his little force field up in between, just in case, which is just as well. Getting the blast from both barrels, literally. Butters screaming, he's yelling. I just get that too, though. I mean, I love, like, where Harry is very tough and Harry is very whatever. But again, it's just also these certain moments. Like, I'm like, this is just really very typical real life more, right? Not so much the action movie of, I'm too cool to, but...
They're tongue-in-cheek moments.
To tell you what, you probably, I mean, again, if you're literally running across a parking lot and somebody is shooting at you with, whether you've got, you know, a shield that you figure, you're probably going to be yelling, oh my God, move it, you know, like, and again, it's that half realistic, half badass, half comical kind of, I know that was too many half, shut up, I don't do math here either, but, you know, it was, yeah, exactly right, it was just...
And Jess, you keep disproving that you actually, the whole mathing thing, when you write symbols up on the whiteboard, Jess is greater than, uses math abbreviation.
That's the only one she knows, though, because she just heard greater than, and that was the only that was the end all and be all.
Good point, good point.
I don't know what the other one is.
Yeah. So I finally get the Beetle rolling, they get out, and they're still being chased.
Right.
Now they are being chased by dead Phil, who apparently is keeping up with the car.
Right, these are very much more like, this reminds me of the World War Z.
Yeah.
Z? Shit.
Sprinting zombies.
Sprinting. The ones that are really fast. If it can keep up and catch up to a car,
Yeah.
they are the uber scary ones.
Yeah, don't
Rude.
like that kind of zombie app.
No, neither does Butters. The fuck? And Harry's like, jeez.
Yeah, and it's not just Phil, it's 4 of them, including Phil.
Right.
Now, yeah.
It's kind of like that Terminator 2 moment where, like, the
Yeah, totally.
impending sense of awful doom. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting up with anything that's running to me like that. Just kill me. I'd be crashing the car.
Right? She almost does.
Well, yeah, Butters, take the wheel. That's not comfortable to drive that way.
It's not, and it's
know how
not
much gas
nearly as
to
cash.
give.
She is.
And
Well, he's not. You can't give
no,
the gas. if
Harry
you're
doesn't know
taking
how
the
much
wheel.
gas to give.
No.
He's not watching the road, so.
Yeah, no. There's all kinds of problems with that. But although really at
I
this
mean, it
point,
really
I
has
think
to be a very quick moment to handle it.
yeah, as any of us who have ever, which I've only heard about and have never done this, you know, taking the wheel for someone else or having someone else take the wheel for you while there's all kinds of
God, the wheel, I dropped a smoke.
Right?
It's on my lap.
Exactly.
Not that I know that one from experience. But.
No. Or, you know, people that insist on answering their phones or their messages while, you know, you're like, would you like me to just here, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, not good conditions at all. But I was going to say, I think in this particular case, how much gas to give is just all of it. Like, you're trying to outrace this. He's pretty much just not lifting his foot off anyway. So at this point, he's just got to brace himself
Don't take any
against it
sharp
all the
turns.
way.
How many straight roads are in Chicago for how long?
You know, maybe not a lot, but this is the Forensic Institute. They're coming out of the parking lot. Maybe we've got a nice guy.
Industrial area.
I feel like there could be, you know, quite the driveway into this place before, you know, big parking lot.
All right.
And I don't think it's really for that very long because
No,
it's really
he's
just for
gotta
him to
shoot.
turn around and use his kinetic ring
Yeah.
to
Poof.
throw a punch and then get back to it.
Once again, who needs windows in their cars?
And I love this ring so much. It just reminds me of sort of like those self-winding watches, which may or may not date me.
Get that perpetual motion going.
But like, does anyone still wear a watch?
No, just a hat.
I'll drink to that.
So they do manage to get away. And for 10 minutes they're driving, which is a long, long time for coming down from that adrenaline rush. And even Harry himself is feeling it.
It's true. And I realize that this car is also a manual. So that's kind of got to suck for Harry to drive with the bummed hand for all of this. Because now he's got to actually do the stick shift too and steer. So
he's just using like his wrist, his arm.
Well, I guess, right? I've seen you do the same thing with the standard.
What? My hands are perfectly fine, folks.
It's not really driving unless you've got a drink, a cigarette, and it's standard.
A non-alcoholic drink. I do not drink and drive. I would like to point that out.
What else can we
However,
child neglect.
I have never driven under a bus.
So say she's a little laissez-faire.
Okay, I'm just saying, dude, seriously, I've never drunk and drive.
I've got this one thing, okay? Let me have it.
Right.
Another side story. First car that was standard that I ever drove was my sister's yellow Beetle.
Ooh.
Yeah, but she didn't tell me how to stop. And I was like...
So the brake is for
I was
dummy.
11 or 12, and I didn't know because there was 3, so all she told me, she's like, okay. And I did it as she was telling me how to do it, and then I got it rolling, and then I panicked because I was
Moving.
11. Like, I was like, oh my God, and I shouldn't be doing this, and it's illegal, and it's at night, and my sister's a badass, and I'm scared. And
She was
how
such a
do
fool.
I stop? And, yeah.
It's like
You just let go of everything and the car just stalled.
Because there's really no way to well, I didn't know that either. I was just like, how do I stomp on all of them at the same time? There's 3.
It's like Tina Belcher learning to drive for the first time, crashing into the only car in the parking lot.
I don't know what a Tina Belcher is.
Bob's Burgers.
Oh, okay. Right,
That
it's
gets done
inevitable.
a lot, though. One car.
In one car, yeah.
It's like that one meme about like the first town that had 2 cars and they crashed into each other.
Yeah,
there was only
right.
2 cars.
That's okay. The first homicide only took like 2 people. It's too crowded. 2 people, 2 cars. It's too many. They are going to collide.
It's like they're magnets.
Right. Okay, no, but I do have to say the one about, because, yeah, after I learned to drive standard, and then I didn't for a long time, and then my car went down, so then I was loaned a standard to drive, so I did have to kind of reacquaint myself with it. So for the first few days, it was like, rush hour traffic, and I'm like, I can go slow, but please don't stop, because inevitably I'm going to stall at some, right? So I remember I was talking about, so I'd had the car for, a couple weeks or something like that, right? We smoothed out of those, and yeah, I had to call my mom for something about something, and so... I forget exactly how it went, but I was making some joke about like, well, it's fine. Or I'm like, obviously I can do fine. I'm like, I can talk on the phone and smoke a cigarette and change gears at the same time. My mom's like, oh my God, don't tell me that's what you're doing.
And I remember that story. That's why I was saying it.
So, okay, it was not drinking. Okay, it was a Bluetooth conversation with my mother. Well,
But I do remember that story.
but yes. So, but yeah.
And people ask why me and my sister are horribly deformed.
And then I show them pictures of her father.
Oh, gosh.
So Harry has to take a moment even for himself to control and get his emotions under check, which we've seen in past books when he has to stop and compartmentalize, but he said,
Adrenaline's a bitch, wizard or not. Adrenaline fucks you up, man.
it gets you.
He's still human-ish.
Yeah, well, kinda. And yeah, he's making the points.
Got the mentality of a human.
Wizards are human.
He declares himself, to me, it feels like he tries to convince everyone else that he's a human a lot more often than a human would do.
Okay, because he's got a few,
I'm one of you guys,
exceptions.
us, people like us, and everyone else is like, I don't know, bro, you're not like us at all.
I can't do what you can
He's got
do.
orphan mentality, though, in some ways, because he's just been like...
In some ways.
No, oh, sorry. Come on. But no, he's been bounced from place to place to place,
Yes.
that he doesn't actually have a very solid sense of identity when it comes to being a wizard, because he didn't really...
Yeah.
I
Like,
see, yeah.
part
you
of his
lump that
identity
into-
is, like, learn how to be a tyrant from Justin. Learn how to be a stage magician from your dad. Learn how to be...
I just go back to book one, Harry and his row of pamphlets. I'm a tyrant. Ask me how. I learned from the best.
And I killed him.
But it's not much of
when
a
the student
foundation, right? Like...
Yes, no, that is fair. He has it on several levels in several ways, but yeah.
Poor little orphan Harry has no love, has no home.
Do not ask him to sing.
But yes, so especially coming off the last year, he's been finding it increasingly harder and harder to get a hold of himself, too.
He's suffering for even more PTSD than he normally does.
Yes,
Right.
and I'm kind of happy to see it. I'm sorry that it's happening to you, Harry, but I like the realism of like, yeah, you've had a horrible couple of years,
Physical
dude.
trauma, emotional trauma, mental trauma, spiritual trauma, like whatever, all that.
Yep.
It's nice to have a
Supernatural.
flawed main character that you can relate to.
Yeah. But I still just want him to win. So yeah, so they get away. Things start coming down. Harry decides, you can pull over for a minute. So apparently Butters didn't have time to grab his coat and lock up and make sure he had everything with him. So being in the crappy Beetle in the tail end of October here, he's fucking cold. So Harry grabs a couple of coffees for them and digs a blanket out of his trunk for Butters. That's just the kind of guy he is.
Butter starts to ask what happened because they're at the convenience store, but
Okay.
Harry tries to protect him by not answering his questions. But at least at this point, Harry has kind of learned his lesson from Murphy and then decides to...
much
he's
Delaney.
going to give Butters, he's going to give them the better of the doubt. And like, he's an adult and here, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually
He
going to
talks
give you
himself
this information.
into giving Butters the information by essentially deciding that if he doesn't give the information, Butters is as good as dead.
Right.
So
And he keeps asking for it. He wants to know the truth.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
Yeah.
you need to tell me.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck just happened? You don't want to know. Well, yes, I do. He's like, no, you really don't. But yeah, it does basically come down to that do I give him the information to protect himself, understand, have some idea, or leave him with blinders and potentially leave him worse off?
Well, especially since he's being specifically pursued. It is
Well, right,
so much better that he
exactly.
actually knows what's going on.
Yeah, like he's trying hardcore. Like Butters is like, he's like, you're happy, and he's like, am I happy? I'm scared to death. I don't know what's going on. Do I seem happy to you?
And if he doesn't tell him the truth, how does Butters actually reconcile a walking dead person at this point in time? Like he can't without really going insane in some ways.
This is the other thing, right? This is what happened in book 3. He identified these human-like but not human vampire corpses, and they locked him in the loony bin. And he's like, right, so are you just going to reinforce that, Harry?
Yeah.
No, Butters, you really are just crazy. Are you going to, I don't know if that even falls under gaslighting or just whatever, but just fucked up, right? Just making you doubt.
Well, and it's one thing, too, if Butters had legitimately just been an ill-timed witness, it could be safer to gaslight Butters and take him home and let him be safe. And as we've seen,
One isolated moment.
given enough time, humans will convince themselves it was a dream, a hallucination. They'd smelled too much formaldehyde in the office, and they,
You're just doing a little too much huffing there. You're blowing on the tube a little too hard, Butters.
Phil committed suicide at work, and the ensuing trauma of discovering his body made you imagine a couple of other horrible things that night. Like,
Right.
you'll talk yourself into an explanation eventually.
You've thought about
However,
this a lot, Jessica. Mm-hmm. You thought about this
Sorry?
a lot.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nope. Had any corpses at work? Don't go in the freezers at 7-Eleven.
So Harry's
I hear it's dark there.
In several meanings of it's dark place.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
He was talking himself into things. He's rationalizing how Phil's suicide was just a thing he
That
saw.
he'll get there eventually.
But if,
yes.
if it was just an isolated incident, it would be worth gaslighting him. However,
It might be, however, Butters is, of course, the target in this situation. If Harry was not the target, the Butters was, unfortunately, around Harry for. Butters was the target that Harry was, thankfully, around for.
yes.
And Phil himself is hard to sort of...
That's brutal.
That's pretty hard to explain. Like, he's not coming back to work.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that you probably would chalk it up to
Like you said,
a horribly
some kind
violent act.
some
that
kind of
random
suicide or random
suicide.
act of violence or something.
Yeah, I
And-
guess.
You would cut the zombies out of it because you couldn't.
Yeah,
explain
that's the part she would rationalize away. But yeah, she's accepting that Phil's death might have stayed as part of the narrative.
catalyst for the crazy.
Yeah,
You would almost think that like the wizards would like have sort of like break in case of emergency spells for like the
The Men in Black, just
the normies. Like
yes.
yeah, like
But
they'd be like,
And
goes
this
against
is
one of
particularly
their
bad for you. So
and so many do, like the Men in Black, and even Harry's got a forget-me-not potion thingy. Obscura, so we know what is. No, that's one of. Don't they have
Wizarding
mind
World. Harry
muddling-
Potter has a thing. Yes.
Yeah, like a sort of feel like there's like another more recent one where I read where they had, but yeah, a lot of them, exactly, because it's just that much easier to have to explain. We'll just make everybody forget that this happened, or...
But you've got a point, though, the wizard
it goes against one of the laws of magic in this particular world.
In this particular world, yeah, they don't have the easy squeezy fit, which is why SI exists and why Murphy's job is so tough sometimes, because she has to come up with the explanation of the man in the mask, or...
And easy on the Wizarding Council, 99% of the people that they need to explain it away to end up dead.
Right?
They're not surviving. They don't need to be explained to. They don't need to be let in on the know. Harry has a knack for saving all these people, and then he has to tell them what the fuck is up.
I was going to say, right,
they'll just go crazy and kill themselves. It's fine.
For most people, their first encounter is their last encounter because, yeah, once they encounter it, they're in the middle of being killed or eaten or... But not even just that. But again, there's been the vampire corpses. There's been the contracting every plague in the book, right? So this isn't even Butters' first
Harry and his freaky genes.
Harry and his freaky gene, right? There's becoming more and more instances there that as well, that he can't, and aside, like you say, I think him specifically being the target in this case is also a very big reason for, right?
He even mentions, I think, next chapter too, like, oh my god, all the shit you and Murphy are always talking about is real.
Yeah.
I thought it was really weird metaphors and shit.
Right? Like...
Well, yeah, you've got a point. Like, next chapter we will go into it, but, like, they're
I kind of like to think, this whole time the Butter's been thinking that they're using the word vampire or play.
Like an emotional vampire, right? I know what you're talking about.
No, they're not allowed to discuss cases in front of witnesses. So they're like, we'll use a lot of metaphors and jargon. And I was like, wait a second. Wait. You actually did go into a vampire scourge and kill everyone at the Blood Cross?
Wait, you have
instead of Big Nikki, we're just call her Vampire Nikki because she's an emotional vampire.
That also doesn't work, in which case they are just discussing every case. Wait, you haven't been trying to disguise any of your high priority cases from me? You just talk about this shit all the time. What kind of detective are you, Murphy?
That's what Butters says. Oh, that shit you and Murphy always talk about was...
No, I know.
They clearly are.
No, I know, but that's what I mean. It's just funny where your example was like, oh, I just assumed they were coding it up because... No, they are just fully discussing all these cases. Again, that's just more TV shit when they say, I can't discuss an ongoing investigation. They're like, oh, no, we can. We will tell you all the details you don't even want or believe. We will tell them all.
If it's the medical examiner...
But nobody believes us anyway, so we just do.
Exactly. The truth is stranger than fiction, so...
Yeah. The medical examiner...
It's like the X-Files.
They're
like,
you guys rationalize it away yourself and assume I must have been making this shit up.
NCIS, okay? It's not like they ever told Ducky or Abby, oh, sorry, we can't tell you the details. You're not a part of the investigating team.
Except Abby and Ducky were integral parts of the investigating team.
That's what the fuck I'm saying. So if they're in Butters' office...
Oh, I see what you...
He's a part of the investigation, okay? They're not just rocking up to his house and be like, can we meet here? Harry gets arrested every time I take him out in public, so can we just meet at your house? I don't want my boyfriend Kincaid to see that I'm hanging out with Harry.
Like the Scooby Fort, whatever is.
Yeah, well, that's what the Alpha's house is for.
So it becomes later.
But they're not in on the investigation, so they can't go there, so they have to go to Butters' house. Duh.
Gotcha. Yes, he is integral to the... Yeah.
Okay, Oktoberfest is tomorrow. Let's get a wrap on this.
That quote is kind of worthwhile for his convincing him how he's going to get it. He's like, screw up my life. He's like, screw up my life? He stared at me for a second and then said deadpan, I'm a 5'3", 37-year-old single Jewish medical examiner who needs to pick up his lederhosen from the dry cleaner so that he can play in a one-man polka band at Oktoberfest tomorrow. He pushed up his glasses with his forefinger, folded his arms, and said, do your worst. All right, let's talk.
This concludes our episode 13.5, Peanut Gallery. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.